Okay, so I think the last thing that I was doing for this model was the, I just push this stuff off to the side. Let's put it right here. Bacon, I think the reason people like the open world in Elden Ring so much is because it's refreshing for them. Yeah, and also there's a lot of people that like that just like open world games. Like if you just say that a game is open world, they're like, "Oh, that's a game I like then." You know what I mean? There's people that just automatically think that an open world game is of a superior quality to a game that has a more linear design. I personally don't believe in that. I think that both games have their merits, and there is something worthwhile to a game that has a more linear structure. I definitely believe in that. That's why when people say like, "Oh, I don't like Uncharted games because they're linear. I don't like God of War games because they're linear." Yeah, I don't know. That's you're kind of like devaluing the worth of like level design, right? Because as fun as open world games are, they don't really have level design, not in the same way that a game like Uncharted might have, or anything, whatever like that. Night Trap, did I open the jars? Not yet. We're gonna take a look at those probably after I do some modeling, some work on Ritsuka's hands. A lot of hands. There's just a bit of flash, or seam line removal, or not seam lines. Just some flash, some mold lines that we have to kind of clean up on our hands. That's what we're gonna work on. If you guys are wondering what the jars are, that's the thing that we picked up at the flea market. I can show you real quick. A little tease of what's to come. So yeah, I've mentioned this on Instagram, but usually when you go to a hobby store, sorry, not a hobby store, a flea market, I don't really expect to find Warhammer stuff at places like this. I don't know, it's just not something that ever really comes to mind. Toys, sure. Video games, yeah. But Warhammer stuff? No, not really. But today was the exception to the rule. Look at that. And they came in jars. I can talk a little bit about this later. But yeah, there was a bunch of this. A lot, like way more than the two that I'm holding in my hand right now. And it was multiple jars stacked like 4 deep and two jars high, maybe even 3 jars actually of Warhammer stuff. And then they had even more stuff kind of like in plastic bags. So I spent a good long while looking through it. And I picked up these two because they look the most interesting to me. I actually don't know if they're complete. I am 90% certain that they are complete. But we'll see. Did I move the camera a bit? I think I did. There we go. Okay. Back to the hands. There's the hype train. Choo-choo, hype train. I guess I should make like a Thomas the Tank Engine hype train model emote. Oh, by the way, guys, can I do this? We've got some sound effects in the rewards if anyone wants to mess around with those. This is the one that I thought was the best. This is the first one that I thought of. If you're a fan of anime, you might have heard that sound. It's used in multiple shows, often often in relation to some kind of perverted image that's on screen or something sexy or something. I'm pretty sure it was used in Hajime no Ippo at least once or twice, and I think it was used in Hunter x Hunter. It was used in a lot of stuff. So if you guys have channel points, you can mess around with that. I've got a few other ones. This one's a good one.
Easy operation.
Oh, there you go, Night Trap. Here, I'll let you guys mess around with it. I think that easy operation is from Marvel. Sorry, it was from Capcom versus SNK. But the other ones are from Street Fighter V or Street Fighter 4. And they're from
Mission start.
Mission start. What's the cooldown? I think the cooldown is 5 minutes. I think so. You think that's a decent amount of time? The most expensive one is a JoJo one. Alright, let's do some mission start.
Oh my god!
There you go, big time, big time. Do you think that those are a good price, or do you think I should jack up the prices? Think that's a decent price? With the WoW one, I figure because I'm building some Mecha Musume models. I figure the WoW might come in handy. Wow. The cooldown should be shorter. Okay, I have it like I have it at 5 minutes, so I'll change that for next time then. Can put it down to like 30 seconds to a minute. I'll do that. No big deal. Bacon, you might have none? No cooldown? It's the Wild West over at Bacon Stream. Anything goes. Okay, I think these two are pretty much done. I think. You can kind of see. Yeah, we got to go in with this. What else do I have? Mission Star, Anime WoW, Mission Complete, Easy Operation. Yep, Joe Star. Yeah, you guys found them all. I might think of a few other ones. I also changed my raid animation too. I initially had a Dino Riders animation for the raid, but it was too blurry, to be honest. I think that the original source must have come from like an old videotape that they just digitized. So it was too blurry, and it was a little too short. So I changed it. Just some small tweaks, and I guess I gotta think of other channel reward stuff to add as time goes on. But we'll get to that when we get there. For now, I have that stuff. This model is actually way smaller than the Build Fighters model that I have. She's like super tall. Let's try and smooth this out. Such small, delicate parts. Big day today, basketball. Let's see if Raptors can make it 3-2. I mean, at least they're not getting swept. And, you know, Scotty got the Rookie of the Year. That's super cool. But, you know, at this point, whatever. Like, we're playing with house money. Like, just go out there and play some basketball and see how far you get. Because a lot of people discounted the Raptors, period, this year. You know, a lot of people thought that they weren't going to do much of anything. And conversely, a team that's 3-0 right now in the playoffs, or 0-3 I should say, are the Nets. And the Nets, now that's a team where they had all the expectations on them, right? Coming into the season, they had a big three. And then there was all this stuff about James Harden, so they got rid of him. And then they got Ben Simmons. And I remember Stephen A. Smith saying that the Nets won that deal. And I was disagreeing super hard with that. He was like, the Nets won that deal. And, I mean, look at them now. I was looking forward to Ben Simmons playing today. He was supposed to play today. But that's not going to happen. I really wanted to see him play. You know? Just get out there. And actually, Charles Barkley made a connection. He related the Ben Simmons situation to Scotty Barnes. And he was saying how, Kentwan, what is up? Surprised that we won the game on Saturday? Yeah. I'm glad that we won. Just so long as we don't get swept. But, yeah. Charles Barkley was saying how, like, look at Ben Simmons. He says he's got some kind of, like, back soreness or something. He doesn't want to play. And he was saying how, you know, your team is about to get eliminated. Your team is about to die. And you're just going to sit there and let it happen, right? Like, you need to, at the very least, Charles Barkley was saying, like, at the very least, you need to get out there, play, and even if for a few minutes, and if it's too much, you sit down and everyone goes, hey man, you gave it a shot, thanks for showing up, good try, right? At the very least, that's sort of like the unspoken rule, right? You know, it just kind of proves to the other players that you're there for them, right? And yet he's not doing that. Time and time again, when there's been an opportunity for him to do something like that, to kind of show whatever team it is, whether it was the 76ers or the Nets, you know, he just has not done that. So Barkley was saying, like, look at Scotty Barnes, right? That's exactly what happened. He is like out there on one leg. But he showed up. He showed up for his team, and he was looking bad, like in terms of like how he was walking and stuff. But he showed up and he played. And you see that all the time, like Kevin Durant 2019 in the championships. He came out. He gave it a shot, right? And it was scary. That those few minutes where he was playing, it was scary because he was hitting those shots. And even Klay Thompson, like he got injured, but he went out in the back. And they told him, if you don't take your free throw shots, you can't come back into the game. So he came out, took his free throw shots, played a little more, but he was like hobbling. So they went right to a timeout again. But again, that's just like he came out and kind of showed his guys that I'm there for you. Like, I'm going to try. I'm at least going to try. And Ben Simmons did not do that. Cantonet's team is poo-poo. Canton, Steve Nash is really trash at picking players. Steve Nash really isn't responsible for choosing the team that he's going to be coaching. That's the responsibility of the higher-ups. Bacon, I don't see how Nets won that trade. They now have both Kyrie and Simmons on the team. I feel like, so the thing about the Nets, it seems like they almost specifically went for the players that had the most attitude. Like, they were building a stable of heels. Because, you know, like as much as people like good guys, people also will like show up to just hate on the bad guys, right? So it still puts the butts in the seat, right? In seats. So they went that route. They got all the heels in the WWE. It was like a team made out of like Mr. Perfect, Kamala, I don't know, Tugboat, Typhoon, Crush. I don't know, I'm thinking of all the lame 80s heels. Oh, Mr. Perfect wasn't lame though. $1 Million Man, that guy wasn't lame. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of heels from the 80s. Canton, I just don't get why they don't play Blake Griffin. He's their best defender, and he defended Tatum better than anyone else. Yeah, they did play Blake, but he's kind of like a bench guy, and he actually was like, for what he was doing, he was actually pretty good. He was basically sacrificing his body for the team. But yeah, you know what though? I think that there's a lot of politics, even in just in terms of like who gets to be in the starting lineup, who gets to be a starter. I'm less knowledgeable in basketball when it comes to overall basketball compared to like Bacon or Night Trap, but my sense is that there's a bit of politics going on as far as who's truly deserving of that starter spot and who's actually like has to get there because of their prestige and stuff like that. And I feel like, yeah, Blake Griffin on any other team he might just be a starter, but not on the Nets. I don't know. What do I know? Goro, Ted DiBiase was the shit. Mary Trunks, how's it going, Mary Trunks? Yeah, Ted DiBiase was so cool. Okay, was that one? I remember that he didn't have his own belt. Like, he couldn't actually win a belt. So he just bought one. He just bought one and he put way more diamonds in it than like the actual real legit belt. And he's like, this thing is important now and it's mine. I like that. And then it became a thing for a while. His son wrestled for a bit, Ted DiBiase's son. I think he's just like Ted DiBiase Jr. He wrestled for a bit, but he never, he didn't stick around too long. I remember that it was him and Cody Rhodes, just another son of a prominent wrestler, Dusty Rhodes. And between the two of them, they were like both like really generic white guys. And that's not my opinion. That's although I do tend to agree with it, that's like what everyone has kind of like jointly agreed upon. And people called them like player 1 and player 2. Or like Billy and, what was it? Billy and Ted or something like that from, that was tough. From Double Dragon, Billy and Johnny. Didn't we lose Van Fleet to injury last game? Yeah, but we don't really know the extent of it. Dealing with some injuries for a while now. Scotty's on one leg. The $1 million belt, yeah. Goro. Dollar signs made of diamonds and would enter the biggest Most self-satisfied grin. Do you remember Virgil? Virgil was like a meme too. I kind of liked Virgil. I thought Virgil was cool, especially when he kind of like struck out on his own. I was like, yeah, man, you do your thing. Go on, Virgil. But then he kind of like just flatlined, and it was like, oh, he couldn't really parlay being the butler or whatever to $1 Million Man. He couldn't really turn it into anything else. Mary Trunk's gonna get some Street Fighter 5 sessions in. Test out Bison's V-Skill 2. Testing it out in the lab. Alright. So these hands, they are not fully in the peg right now. You kind of have to put a little more force than I'm willing to. Always kind of freaks me out. But we can kind of smooth it out if there's any roughness and kind of guide it in a little bit. Let's try that. What rank are you now in Street Fighter there, Mary Trunks? Do you ever occasionally just pop in Street Fighter 5? I wonder if people, sorry, Street Fighter 4. I wonder if there's people still playing that. Okay, yeah. So these hand parts, they can go in a little further in, but yeah, it takes a bit of force, and it kind of freaks me out. So we'll just kind of put them in as far as I can right now, and I will do that a little later. There we go. Okay, that's one that went in nicely, and I think I had another one that went in pretty nicely. These two. So we gotta get another one. There you go. It's not like Lego, where there's like this, Lego has like found the perfect tolerance for clicking that piece in, and it's just amazingly super satisfying. It's like they've got it down to like an exact science, like the exact tension point for their plastic pieces, and they always just snap in perfectly. And then if you guys have ever bought like a Creo model, a Mega Bloks model, it just feels a lot worse. Oh, what if I do it like this? I can kind of just punch it in, push it in. Not really. Oh yeah, there we go. There you go. Ugh. It's making my fingers sore, but yeah, that's basically that. By the way, there's her chest, her torso, rather chesty, I might say. Looking pretty nice. There you go. There's Mary Trunks asking if he wants to, if Bacon is interested in a ass whooping. That's an example of the proper usage of that soundbite.